Hey guys, hello everyone and welcome to the channel. So today in this particular video I'm going to take 10 tricky questions from general aptitude part. Now for the GATE exam, especially this general aptitude part becomes very important. It's not something which you can leave in the exam as you can do that in the CSIR net, right? So in CSIR net exam there are many students who don't bother about the general aptitude part. They just look upon the chemistry part and that is sufficient enough to qualify the exam. But in GATE exam it is difficult to get good rank without doing any questions from general aptitude, right? So this part becomes very important, and yes, you have to focus on this part as well for the exam, right? So what I have thought that I should take 10 tricky questions, 10 different types of questions from the previous years of GATE exam, so that it can just give you an idea about what type of questions are asked in the GATE exam, and this will just help you in the upcoming exam for yours, right? So I've just taken some of the questions which I thought that those are different and they require a little bit of logical analysis. Now here I have not included verbal aptitude at all. Verbal aptitude means I have not included English questions in this particular video. I have only included mathematics and logical analysis type of questions. Okay, so I hope this video will be helpful for you and you will enjoy it. So watch this video carefully. So before going into the video, I would highly request you that if you are watching this video, if you are liking the content of this particular channel, do support me by subscribing to the channel. And if you have done subscribing, let's continue with our video now. Alright, so I'll talk about this first question over here. It says that a worker noticed that the hour hand of the factory clock has moved by 225 degrees during her stay in the factory. So for how long did she stay in the factory? Now the question seems to be difficult at first, and especially if you try to solve it in the very basic way, applying the logical mathematics, it will take a lot of time. I will tell you a very shortcut trick of doing any question like this. What do you have to do? You have to just look upon the clock. You all have seen the clock, you all know obviously. So you know that you have 12, 3, 6 and 9 like this. And if you just look upon the angles made between your 12 and 3, that is basically 90 degrees. And that 90 degrees is going to be divided by 1 and 2 also, right? There will be, after 12 there will be 1, 2 and then 3. So if I talk about for 1 hour, so when the hour hand is going to show, or it is going to move for 1 hour, so for 1 hour it is going to cover this much arceal distance, right? The hour hand of the clock is going to cover how much distance from here? It is going to cover till here in 1 hour, right? So how much degrees it has traveled from here to here? So 90 divided by 1, 2, 3 sections. So for 1 hour you can say that it goes around 30 degrees, okay, which I'm talking about for hour hand. Okay, so or you can say, yeah, that hour hand of the clock. Now there is one more hand of the clock, that is minute hand and the second hand. So you should know about the minute hand as well, that for 1 hour you know that the minute hand is going to cover total 360 degrees, right? So by that there is a question for you. Okay, you guys have to tell me in the comment section that for 1 minute how much degrees, okay, how much degrees does the minute hand moves? Okay, minute hand moves. So this you can easily do. If you follow this solution, you can easily do. So for our question, for the given question, 1 hour is going to travel 30 degrees. So total degrees, how much it has traveled? It has traveled 225 degrees. So number of hours is pretty simple, 225 divided by 30. And if you divide this, you are going to get 7.5 hours, and this is going to be your answer. So the correct answer is option number D. What you have to do in the comment section, you have to tell me that for 1 minute how much degrees does the minute hand moves. Okay, do let me know in the comment sections. All right, let's go to the next question then. The next question over here says that the sum and the product of two integers are 26 and 165 respectively. Difference between the two integers is asked. So the two integers, let it be x and y. So the sum of the two integers is 26. The product of both of them, that is x dot y, is 165. What is the difference between these two integers? That means they are asking about x minus y. Okay, this is what they are asking. Alright, so to answer this type of question, I'll give you a very simple trick. The trick says that if you have x plus y, and if you have to find out, let's say x plus y, this is equals to under root x minus y whole square. And if you have plus, write down plus here and 4 times of xy. Okay, so x minus y whole square plus 4xy. This is the formula. Let's say if you have to find out x minus y, so the sign is going to change to minus. Here you have to change it to plus, and here you have to make it minus. So the sign is just going to get changed. That means the second formula, you can simply write it separately. The formula is like if you have to find out x minus y, this is going to be under root of x plus y whole square and plus 4xy. Just substitute the values which you already know. So x plus y is 26, so under root of 26 square and plus 4 times of 165. Now you have calculator in the GATE exam. You can substitute, like you can use the calculator to solve it. You are going to get under root of 16 after doing this. Okay, so you are going to get under root 16. Answer is going to be 4. So this is how simply you can solve this type of questions. Okay, answer is option number C. Let's take the next question then. Alright, the next question is based upon logical analysis. It says M and N had 4 children, P, Q, R, S. Of them, only P and R were married. They had children X and Y respectively. If Y is the legitimate child of W, which one of the following statement is necessarily false? So let's first of all make a diagram. This is called family tree. Okay, so M and N are having 4 children. So these M and N are married. Who is male, who is female, we don't know about that, but both of them are married and they are having 4 children. What are those 4 children? Those are P, Q, R and S. You have 4 children and they had children. Okay, out of them P and R are married. So P and R are also married and they have children X and Y respectively. So P is having children X, R is having children Y. Okay, so who is the child, male or female, that is also not mentioned. But since respectively is written, so P, for P we will have X, for R we will have Y. It also says that if Y is the legitimate child of W, that means Y is the child of W also. That what does that mean? It means that R must be married with W, then only they are getting a child Y, right? So Y is the child of W also, Y is the child of R also. So R and W are actually married. Who is male, who is female, we don't know about that, but this is what the data which is given to us. And now they are asking you that which of the statement is necessarily false. That means it is absolutely false. So let's look upon that. All right, so for that, let's analyze the statements. The first one says that M is the grandmother of Y. So Y is here, the father or mother of Y is R or W, and their father or mother is M. So M, if it is female, it would be grandmother, right? So that's a possible thing. So yes, A is a possible thing. That is a possible thing. So that's not going to be incorrect statement or false statement. The other one says R is the father of Y. So R may be male. Okay, it's not mentioned about R whether male or female. So if R is a male, then obviously it can be father of Y. So it's a possibility is there, right? So there is possibility of this statement to be true. So let's make it true only. The next says W is the wife of R. So if W is the wife of R, so yes, that is true because we have just written that R and W are married, then only they are getting wife. So W if it is a female and if R is a male, so yes, they are husband and wife, and W is the wife of R. Yeah, this is also true. The last one says that W is the wife of P. That's not going to be true. W can be wife of R only, then only W is having a child Y, right? If W would have been wife of P, the child of W would have been X, but it says that Y is the legitimate child of W. So W cannot be the wife of P and R simultaneously, right? So this statement is obviously incorrect, okay? And this is what they were asking you to find out, that which statement is necessarily false. The statement which is necessarily false is statement number D. All right, so this is how these questions has to be done. Let's take the next one.
Alright guys, let's try to do the next questions which were asked from your GATE 2018 exam. The question here says that the area of an equilateral triangle is √3. What is the perimeter of the triangle? Now if you remember the formula for area of an equilateral triangle, let me write down area of equilateral triangle is given by √3 upon 4 and side square. I am writing a square. A is the side of the triangle. So if this is the triangle, all the sides are of a unit. Okay, so this is the formula for calculating the area of the equilateral triangle. Now the value is already given to you, you have to just equate. So root 3 upon 4a square is equals to root 3. You can cancel out root 3 and root 3. So your a square will become, you can write down it like this also. Root 3 is already here. This will be like 4 upon root 3. So this root 3 and this root 3 will get cancelled out. A square will be 4. The value of a will come out plus minus 2. Since a is a length, you have to take the value as 2. Now once you got the value of a as 2, the perimeter is the sum of the length of all the sides. So a plus a plus a is going to be the perimeter. So the perimeter of equilateral triangle is basically 3 into a, 3 times of a, or a plus a plus a. Now that is just going to give you 3 into 2, that is going to give you 6. So 6 is the answer for this question. It was pretty simple question. You just need to know the basic mathematics formula. Okay. All right. The next one, it's a very good question. It is a very nice question which was asked in exam. Okay. If you have any time taught or any time studied mathematics, especially permutation and combination in class 11th or 12th of CBSE board, you might know how to do this question. Okay. The question says that a set of 4 parallel lines intersect with each other, set of 5 parallel lines. Okay. So there are set of 4 parallel lines which are intersecting the set of 5 parallel lines. Now they are asking that how many parallelograms will be formed. Now see, this is also a parallelogram, this is smaller region, whereas this bigger region is also a parallelogram. So, and this, if you take this bigger region, is also parallel. So parallelogram are there, are a lot of parallelograms over here. You have to find out that how many of them are there. Okay, so let me tell you how this has to be done. Now these 4 lines which we made, how many of, like this, if I just consider one of the parallelogram, so for a parallelogram these 4 lines are constituting how many lines for this? They are constituting 2 lines for this. Same, the set of these 5 parallel lines is constituting the other 2 parallel lines of the parallelogram, right? Also, in order to make a parallelogram, you need both the sets. You need set of 4 lines also, 4 parallel lines also, and you need set of 5 parallel lines also. These type of events or these type of data are called dependent data or dependent events. For that you have to multiply both of them. Okay? So you have to multiply both of them, and now you have to apply combination formula. So you have 4 parallel lines. Out of 4 parallel lines, how many of the parallel lines are used in one parallelogram? So 2 parallel lines are being used. So 4C2 is going to be from here. Similarly, out of 5 parallel lines, 2 will be used in one parallelogram, right? For forming a single parallelogram, you need 2 lines out of these 5. So you can see for any parallelogram, if I consider, out of these 5, only 2 are being used here, right? Here, these 2. So they are just using only 2 of them. So that's why 5C2 again. And since in order to form the complete parallelogram, you need these 2 parallel lines also and these 2 parallel lines also. So that's why I have to multiply both of them. So the final answer, the total number of parallelograms is going to be 4C2 multiplied by 5C2. Now this, I think most of you know, if you have studied how to find out number of micro or micro states and all in chemistry, you know how to solve this, hai na? It's pretty simple. It is going to be 4 factorial upon 2 factorial into 4 minus 2 factorial, and multiplied by, it will be 5 factorial divided by 2 factorial and 5 minus 2 factorial. So this whole thing is going to give me 4 factorial is 4 into 3 into 2 into 1 divided by 2 factorial is 2 into 1 multiplied by 4 minus 2 is again 2 factorial, so 2 into 1 multiplied by 5 factorial is 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. You can do the shortcut method also. I am doing it in an elaborated manner so that you understand. 2 factorial is 2 into 1 and 5 minus 2 is 3. So 3 factorial is 3 into 2 into 1. You can cut now. You can just cancel out the things. So 2 into 2 is going to cancel out this 4. Here you can see that this 3 into 2 is going to cancel out this, and this 2 can easily cancel out this. Now you are only left out with this, that is 3 into 5 into 4. This is going to give you 60. Okay, so the total number of parallelograms in the given system is 60. This is how it will be done. All right, let's take the next question now. The next question is based upon your algebra. The question says that x square plus x minus 1 is 0 then what is the value of this whole thing? Alright, let me show you how this will be done. Whenever you have something like this, x square plus x minus 1 is equals to 0, what you have to do, just take out x common from here. Okay, so if I take x common from here, what will be left out? Only x will be left out, plus since x is already taken, so this will become 1, and here there was no x, yet you have taken x common, so this will become 1 upon x. This is going to be equal to 0. Now simply what you can do is, there are two things, this x will be equal to 0 and the bracket term is equals to 0. That means x plus 1 minus 1 upon x is equals to 0. That's what you can write down. Or you can say that x minus 1 upon x is equals to minus 1. This one I have taken this side, it became minus 1. Now square both side. On squaring both side, you are going to apply a plus a minus b whole square. Okay, so a minus b whole square both side. So this is going to be a square plus b square and minus 2ab. Okay, so 2 into x into 1 upon x, and on the other side minus 1 square is going to give you 1. Now you are going to get x square plus 1 upon x square. Here x and x will get cancelled out. Minus 2 will be equal to 1, right? Minus 2 equal to 1, or you can just take this 2 to the other side, and this is going to become 2 will come this side, and 1 plus 2 is going to give you 3. So x square plus 1 upon x square is going to be 3. Again for the other part, again you have to do it. So again square this up. Okay, square this whole thing. So x square plus 1 upon x square ka whole square, and on the other side 3 square. So here you are going to get x square ka square is x to the power 4, 1 upon x square ka square is 1 upon x to the power 4 plus 2ab. So 2 into x square into 1 upon x to x square. On the other side you will get 9. So this and this will get cancelled out. X to the power 4 plus 1 upon x to the power 4 is going to be equal to 9 minus 2, or you can say that x to the power 4 plus 1 upon x to the power 4 is equals to 7. So the final answer is going to be 7, option number C. Alright, so this is how this question has to be done. Let's take the next one then. Alright guys, let's try to do this particular question. This was asked in GATE 2017 exam, and this was a little logical question. And the question says that trucks which are of 10 meter long and cars which are of 5 meter long, they go on a single lane bridge. There must be a gap of at least 20 meter after each truck and a gap of at least 15 meter after each car. Trucks and cars travel at the speed of 36 km per hour. If the cars and trucks go alternatively, means first truck, then car, then truck, then car, like that, what is the maximum number of vehicles that can be used the bridge for an hour? That means for 1 hour. Let's try to do this. Before doing this question or before watching this solution, I would recommend you to pause this video and try it of your own. I'll just give you a simple hint. You just have to understand that there is a truck. Let's say this is the truck. Truck is how much long? This is 10 meter long. Okay, and then you have car. The car is only 5 meter long. The distance after the truck, okay, so it says there must be a gap of at least 20 meter after each truck. So there is a gap of 20 meter. Okay, there is a gap of 20 meter after each truck, and then again the next car is going to come, right? Because you have to go alternatively, right? So 5 meter of the car, and there is a gap of at least 15 meter after each car. So after car, if they all are going in this direction, they all are going in this direction, so the car is going to have 15 meter of gap after it. So 5 meter car, 15 meter gap, 10 meter truck, 20 meter distance, and then 5 meter car, again 15 meter, here it will be like 15 meter, like that. So if you look upon this, you have to see that which term or which factor is keep on repeating itself. So the repeating factor is this much. This particular whole thing is repeating itself. 5, 15, 10, 20, then 5, 15, then again 10, 20, and so on, it will keep on repeating. So you can consider this whole thing as a single unit which is traveling. Okay, and since both of them are traveling at the same speed, that is at 36 km per hour, now you can do the things very easily. Okay, so pause the video and try to do of your own. All right, yeah, so I will explain you how this will be done. So first of all, I will just take this whole circled part as a single unit, because this is the unit which is repeating itself. So the length of unit is how much? That is 5 plus 15 plus 10 plus 20. So 5 plus 15 plus 10 plus 20. This is going to give me 20 plus 10 is 30 plus 20 is 50 meter. So 50 meter is the length of my single unit. So how much distance can they travel in 1 hour? So you know the distance traveled by unit. Okay, I'm talking about unit now. Unit in 1 hour is equals to how much? Distance is equals to speed into time. Now the speed is 36 km per hour and the time is 1 hour. So you can just write down 36 km per hour into 1 hour. So you are going to get 36 km, or you can say 36,000 meter. This is the distance which this whole unit can travel. So how many units can be there if the total distance traveled by the unit is 36,000 meter over the bridge? Or you can say that this distance is actually equal to the length of the bridge. Okay, this distance traveled is actually nothing but length of bridge, because they are using the bridge for continuously for 1 hour, right? So it's like they are moving, like when the first unit will come across the bridge, so it is going to take 1 hour to cover the whole bridge. So in 1 hour this much meter they have traveled, so that means the bridge is approximately this much length. So that means the number of units, if you have to find out, that is going to be 36,000 divided by 50. So this is going to give me how much? 720 units. So 720 units is what I am going to get. Now you have to understand that in one unit, which I have considered as one unit, how many vehicles were there? So there are two vehicles, vehicle number 1 and vehicle number 2. One is car and one is truck. So number of vehicles, if I have to find out, okay, number of vehicles will be twice the number of units. So that means 2 into 720, and this is going to give me 1440 as the correct answer. So the final answer is going to be 1440, and this is how this question has to be done. Alright, pretty logical. Some people missed this part while solving, and that's why they got answer as 720. In the exam also many people did this mistake. I just hope you didn't make this mistake, right? Let's go for the next one then. Alright guys, let's talk about this particular question. This was asked in GATE 2020 exam, and this was pretty logical question to solve. It says there are 5 levels P, Q, R, S, T in a linear supply chain before the product reaches the customer in the following figure. So from P it is reaching to Q, from Q it is reaching to R, then to S, then to T, and then to the customer. It says at each of these 5 levels the price of the product is increased by 25%. The product is produced at level P, the cost of 120 rupees. So it is produced at 120 rupees over here. So what is the price that is going to be paid by the customer? So how much price the customer has to pay over here? All right. So see what actually happens, that whenever these type of questions are asked where there is an increment of a certain percentage after every certain level, in that type of questions this is very simple to do. Okay, I'll just give you a trick to solve these type of questions. So if let's say you are starting from this first level, from this how many times the price has increased, that is more important to see. So you can see it has increased first time, second time, third time, fourth time, and fifth time. So you can see that the increment in the price has been made 5 times before it reaches to the customer. So there is a 5 times which the increment has been done. And how much increase has been done? So an increment of 25% is done. So if the price, if I take it the initial price as 100%, so after increment, okay, after increment, how much increment is made? So we will call it as 100% was the price already. You are increasing 25% more. So it becomes 125% increment. Okay, this is how we write down. We don't call it 25% increment because this has been increased on the price. So that's why we call it as 125% increment. Okay, so this is something which you have to understand. Now what you have to do is you just have to know a basic formula. The formula is like from where you are starting, the basic price, that is 120 rupees, multiplied by how much increment is done. So increment is 125%, and to the power how many times the increment has been done. So 5 times. This is going to be the value for the final price. Okay, simple, in one step you are going to get the answer. Once again I am telling, the final price will be equal to the initial price from where it has started, 120 rupees, multiplied by the increment So increment is 125% increment, and how many times that increment has been done, that is going to be in the power of that, so to the power 5. Now you know, whenever the percentage is written, that means you have to divide that by 100, right? So percentage means, any percentage means dividing by 100. So it is going to be 120 multiplied by 125 divided by 100 to the power 5, or you can write down it as 120 multiplied by 1.25 to the power 5. Solve this using the calculator which is provided to you in the GATE exam, and your answer is going to be 366.21. This is going to be the final answer. You can check it out of your own and you will see that this is the final answer. All right, so the other terms which are there, like the actual answer will be like 366.210975 something. It has been just taken up to 2 decimal places, so that's why the correct answer comes out to be this. Now the thing is that you have to tell me that instead of these 5 steps, if instead of these 5 steps there would have been just 3 steps involved, and let's say there the customer was here, okay, the customer was getting here, these steps are not there, let's assume this is the thing, there are just 3 steps involved into reaching the customer. So tell me that which option will be correct now as the correct price which will reach to the customer. Okay, you have to use the calculator, use the trick which I have done, and tell me what's the correct answer for that. That you have to do and tell me in the comment sections below. All right, let's take the next question now. Okay, the next question is again from your GATE 2020. Okay, the question is pretty simple. It says that find the missing element in the following figure. How to do this? See, you have to find out first of all this central number. What is the central number n? So 5 and 9, these are 2 digits. You can see that the difference between them is actually 4. There is no other relation which you can make between 5 and 9 apart from this 4. Okay, so 4 is the distance, or 4 is the difference between 5 and 9. Again, if you see this t and x, so the gap between t and x is again 4, because you know that st, then you have u, then you have v, and then you have w, and then x. So you have 1, 2, 3 and 4th position from here you are getting this x. So the distance between t and x is also 4, or you can say the difference between t and x is also 4. Now you have to tell what is going to be here. Okay, so h is already given to you. So this term can be either 4 digits more than h or 4 digits before h. Okay, so if this is h, you have I, j, k and l. So if this was 4 digit before, after this h, so the answer should be L. L is not there in the options. Let's write down in the reverse order. So you have G, then you have F, then you have E, and then you have D. So you can see that 4 digits away from H is D. So the only possible answer for this given question is going to be option number A. So you have to understand what is the relationship between the digits or between the data which is given to you, and with that you have to predict the correct answer. Alright, so the correct answer for this is option number A. Let's go to the last question of this video. The last question, again I'll give you a trick to solve this type of question. It says it was estimated that 52 men can complete a strip of newly constructed highway connecting cities P and Q in 10 days. Due to the emergency, 12 men were sent to the another project. How many numbers of days more than the original estimate will be required to complete the strip? This type of question is MHD type of question, man, hours and days type of question. Okay, so you just have to do it like this: M1 H1 D1 should be equal to M2 H2 D2. Okay, men, hours, days equal to men, hour and days. Now since in the given question, this is the trick, okay, you can apply to this type of question with this particular trick. You just have to memorize it. Any question based upon this can be done. If let's say this question is pretty simple, if it was given ki this many men work for 2 hours or 5 hours for 10 days, so hours will be included over there. So for these questions you don't have to include hour because hour data is not given. So for the given for our question, this will be just like M1 D1 is equals to M2 D2. M is the number of men, D is the number of days. Now in the first case we have 52 men and they are working, or they are supposed to work for 10 days. On the other side, for 12 men were sent to another project. So how many men are left now, or how many men are doing? So 52 minus 12 will give me 40 men. So now basically 40 men are doing for the days which we have to find out. So let's say the number of days are D. So, or I'll just write down it as a small d. So simply you can just find out that a small d is 52 into 10, sorry, it should be 52 into 10 divided by 40. Pretty simple to solve. 0 and 0 will get cancelled out. You can just divide it and you will get 13. Okay, so your days which these 40 men are going to take is 13. Okay, so these 40 men are going to take 13 days. So the question was that how many number of days more than the original estimate it is going to take. So original estimate was 10 days, you are taking 13 days, so how many more days you are taking? 3 extra days. So the option number A is correct option. In this question many people were able to solve also, but they did option D in hurry. Okay, so don't do that, read the question very carefully and then try to answer it. All right, so that's all for this video guys. I have tried to take 10 questions from general aptitude part. I hope the tricks which I have discussed with you is going to be helpful for you and you have understood how to apply them, and I just hope that you like the video, right? If you like the video, let me know in the comment sections below. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to it, share this video with your friends, like the video if you like it, and I will see you in the next one. Till then, have a great day. Bye bye.